Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I'm Ethan Simi, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Sophie Holsinger.
Not my daughter, you bitch.
And my other wonderful co-host, Ben Lawhorn.
Not me, not Hermione, you.
I don't think I can continue. I think we've peaked. I think that's the pod. We've done it. And today we are collaboratively drafting the Wizarding World franchise. Sophie, Ben, how's it going?
I mean, the listeners may not know it, but it's been a while since we've all drafted together, and I'm just excited to be back to be talking about, honestly, one of my favorite franchises and the source of multiple tattoos on my body.
Oh, we'll need to put a pin in that because I need some information. You have like Hogwarts, like Spirit Jersey style, right? Like across your back.
I have the whole Marauders map actually on my back. That's what I have.
It's actually dope. That's actually pretty sick. Sophie, what's up? How are you?
I'm great. So happy to be here with you guys. Yeah, again, talking about one of my favorite things in the whole world, Harry Potter. We've talked off pod quite a bit about how this is going to be a bit of a bloodbath, a bit of a passionate topic for us three. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, well, look, I don't want to sell myself short, apparently, with you guys. I also care deeply about the Wizarding World. You've had your opportunity to say that you care. I also care. So this will be a bloodbath. Ben, you mentioned we haven't recorded together in a while. We'll lift the veil a little bit. We haven't recorded as a group in over 10 days, which is like an eternity in podcasting time, at least for us. It's been a long time. I went to TIFF and I essentially put us in a podcast drafting freeze out, gearing up for one of the biggest franchises that we could collaboratively draft. And I feel like that was a really smart strategic move on my end, to kind of just like make you guys sit with the reality that your rankings are probably wrong for like 2 weeks, and then get ready for this collab draft. So I feel really good about it. But yeah, I love the Wizarding World. I think we all do. And I think this conversation is going to be really interesting and possibly rude. And I think that we will really start to understand the truths of each other.
Yeah.
Ben, you said you have some tats.
Yeah, I did. It was actually my very first tattoo. I got a version of the Deathly Hallows on my ribs. It was my very first tattoo ever. I was
classic
in London with my partner, and we went to the we went to the London tour, the Harry Potter studio thing.
Wow,
which was super sick. And it just felt like the appropriate place to get a Harry Potter tattoo. So yeah, that was my first tattoo ever.
That's so cool. Can you show it, and we'll actually clip it from the pod and we'll put it on the draft after dark, the feed actually.
Yeah, I'll wait for after we do the actual draft.
Video only.
Video only for sure.
Sophie, do you have any Harry Potter tattoos?
I don't, but I'm convinced that if I was maybe born like 5 years earlier, I would have the Deathly Hallows symbol pretty big somewhere,
right across your
it's
forehead.
Kind of like
let everybody know.
Like my generation's infinity symbol, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of girls my age have like that infinity symbol tattooed somewhere on their body. I'd have the Deathly Hallows for sure.
Nice.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Some tattoo lore there.
Yeah, that is some tattoo lore. Do you have an infinity symbol? Now you have to kind of come true on that. No. I need to know. Okay.
I don't.
Not yet.
I'm thankful.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Too good for that. Okay. I do not have any Harry Potter tattoos. I would like to get one, but again, Deathly Hallows. I feel like I need to be in London if I'm getting to the Deathly Hallows. I need to figure out something a little bit more unique than that. I do want to give a shout out. Brian Sudfield, I know, has an entire Harry Potter sleeve that he's working on. Nice. Shout out Brian. We got to hang out at TIFF. Nice. He's a big Harry Potter guy. So also, Brian, anything that happens on this pod is truth, and I hate to hurt your feelings, but that is what it is. So we're going to be collaboratively drafting all 8 Harry Potter proper films, along with the 3 Fantastic Beasts films that make up the Wizarding World film franchise. That would be 11 movies. And I believe I just heard the Hogwarts Express in the background. Is that correct, Sophie? You're potting live from Hogsmeade today. Is that what's happening?
I'm actually on the platform 9 3/4 right now, so you're gonna be hearing that all pod.
Sick. It is Sophie on the streets, just pod edition, Wizarding World edition.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Well, I hope the best for you in your potting adventures. Hope you don't have to Portkey anywhere anytime soon. Of note as well, fuck J.K. Rowling, but wizards are cool. Any comments on that, guys?
Yeah, she's just it's crazy that such a horrendous person could make something that means stuff to people for so long, you know. But yeah, she's like a nightmare, a real life Dementor. She's awful. So you know, fuck her and all her transphobic thoughts. This draft has nothing to do with any support of her at all. It's just our love of the Wizarding world. But like, just let it be known, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Amen. She sucks. Let's move on.
She's a piece of shit. All right, cool. We probably gave her about 60 seconds more than we should have, and that's okay. Okay. Did you watch / rewatch anything for this Wizarding World draft? Because people who follow me on Letterboxd, and you guys especially, know that I have been rewatching everything. My goal was to rewatch all 11 films gearing up for this, so I can have a full and accurate representation of what I thought the correct Wizarding World rankings were. And unfortunately, I only made it halfway through the Fantastic Beasts movies before I actually gouged out my pupils. So that's too bad, but I did rewatch all the Harry Potter movies. Did you guys attempt any such feat?
I did watch all 11 of these.
Wow.
2 of them were first watches. I had not seen the last 2 Fantastic Beasts movies just because I mean, the first one was fine, you know what I mean? But I just hadn't had the desire to see any of the last 2. So I finally watched those. I don't know that I needed to as far as this ranking is concerned, but I did rewatch all 8 of the Harry Potters as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask how you felt about us essentially making you watch those 2 films.
You know, it's the things I do for the pod because I love you guys. Like I'll sit through a Johnny Depp movie for you guys. So,
don't sell the movie short. You know, we get a lot of other actors to talk about in those films. Maybe one of the worst castings ever in film franchise history.
It's true. It's very true.
One of the most cursed, if you. So
I did have a couple movies change their spots for me on this rewatch, the Harry Potters. So I am curious to see how that plays out with all of our feelings on these movies.
Okay.
Nice. I did not intend to do any rewatches for this, but I had one of those days where it was cloudy. I could feel that fall air. And I was like, you know what? I need to put on a Harry Potter flick. So I put one on and then I couldn't stop. So then I just finished out the franchise from where I started.
Nice.
And it was great. I had such a good time. And I'm probably going to like queue a Harry Potter movie up tonight. Like it's that time of year where it just really grabs me. So yeah, I did a little bit of prep.
Little bit of prep / watch almost the whole franchise. Okay. That's
no.
Right. For you guys, are there any 5-star Harry Potter films? I know you might choose not to answer this, but it came to my mind because I know that there are people out there that there are, in fact, several Harry Potter films that qualify as a 5-star film for them. You can be as vague as you so choose, but I'm just curious.
I do have some 5-star movies. I have a lot of 4-star movies in the Harry Potter franchise. But I do have a couple 5 stars.
I'm the same. I think the majority of them for me are probably 4 stars, but I do have a few 5 stars sprinkled in.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I actually don't have a 5-star Harry Potter movie. But I have a significant amount of 4.5-star Harry Potter movies.
Interesting.
So I wonder how that will shake out here. Okay, a couple other questions. Are the Dark Wizards eating the dogs, and are they eating the cats? Do you guys have any
Literally
information
no
on
comment. No comment.
this?
I think you need to take us to Truth Social. I think they could help you out with that answer.
There would be dark wizards that perform such acts, though, for sure. That I feel like that would be part of the wizarding world.
Okay. I have no idea how to respond to that, but if that's what you want, then that's totally fine.
Yeah, no, I wish them the best, eating dogs and cats. What is your guys' favorite aspect of the wizarding world? Because I feel like once we start to draft, we'll get into movies specifically, and we might not have the ability to cover such an overarching question like that. Is there like one or two things of the wizarding world that you find yourself like continually adoring, drawn back to, anything like that?
I think I'm impressed by its expanse, like how big it is, and just constantly finding out new things. I mean, we're like literally going through school with our protagonists, so we're like learning stuff as they are, which is kind of cool. And I think for the most part, everyone seems, I mean, I don't know, excited to be there, I guess. Like, I think it would be exciting to be like, to learn this about yourself. Some of these people are learning it for the first time, you know what I mean? Or like getting to navigate all these skills and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of rad. Plus just like Alan Rickman's cool. So I love that about the wizarding world.
That is cool. No contest on that front.
No.
Yeah.
Contrary to what has been said on previous pods, I love London and I love England.
Okay.
And
well, you can't walk it back now. It's far too late. It's far too late.
That was a Michael Jackson moonwalk. You just like going so far back with that. That was smooth. I like that.
So I love the setting of Harry Potter. Like one of my biggest dreams, like probably one of my dream vacations, is to just like take a train through the hills of like Edinburgh and all the places where like they filmed those scenes, because I think the setting is just something that I so badly just want to jump into. Like even just like being on the Hogwarts Express, like come on, that's like, that would just be everything. Cracking open a book, eating some candy from the trolley, like that's all I want.
Be sweet.
Unprompted says you love London, and then quick and swiftly proceeds to only say one city that's in and around London, and says all the other places.
That's actually like in Scotland. Just like, yeah, you're like, I'd love to see the one that's in Scotland. That's how much I love the UK. and London specifically.
I'm impressed though. I mean, just right around the 10 minutes is all it took. It was weighing on your conscience very heavily.
Yeah,
I
it
can
was.
tell.
I will say, if you guys ever get the chance to take the Wizarding World tour in London, it's amazing. Like literally brought tears to my eyes. Like it is so cool. One of the best experiences I've had. So I highly recommend, if anyone's even thinking about it, to go do it. It's fantastic.
Would you say it's magical?
Without a doubt. Hands down. 5 stars.
Wow. Letterboxd needs to add that so you can add it into your ranking. Or will we be ranking that today? Are we switching to a 12?
Yeah, exactly. We're
12 item
now.
draft. Yeah. I agree with you guys for sure. I think just like the films do such a good job of equating Hogwarts, even at its darkest moments, to be like a very homey place, and to be like the place that Harry and everybody truly like finds solace and finds family and finds home. And I think there is something really kind of like intangible about like putting the movie on and being like, I'm back in Hogwarts. Like that's what the movies are trying to do, and it does it really, really well. So I love the films for that, and I love that we get to go through different eras of Hogwarts for sure. Ben, we know from the prior villains draft that you have a great adoration for some of the villains that take place in the wizarding world. Excited to see how those are going to pan out here today. Do you think you'd survive? You think you'd survive Umbridge's just absolute reign of terror?
I don't think I could. I think my hand just would have been marked up from whatever she had me writing down. There's just no way I would have survived her.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Okay, let's collaboratively draft. I don't want to talk too much strategy, but I'll just say for me,
Whoa.
It's kind of my way or the highway. I don't give a shit what listeners think. The board needs to look right to me. I'll just put that out there.
I really appreciate that you feel 36 episodes into this pod to say that. Like we don't know that that's your strategy every single week. Like, by the way, it's going to be my best interest.
Actually,
news flash, everybody.
Just in case people got confused,
Yeah.
We are recording this before we had the official results of the New York movies auction draft. I was winning there for like 15 minutes, maybe. I was pulling ahead.
Nice.
And then George's squad came and really took me out of the running, unfortunately. I felt good for like 2 minutes. It was pretty sick. So that's probably why I came up with that idea. Whereas like, wow, the people want to hear what I think and what I need to do to get the win here today on the collab draft. Okay, let's go over the rules, the categories. Let's do this. So like I mentioned, collaborative board, we're going to walk away with one single ranking of all 11 Wizarding World movies, 8 Harry Potter films, and 3 Fantastic Beasts movies. As always with our collaborative drafts, a special shout out to Screen Drafts, the podcast, wonderful podcast that has influenced the layout and the gameplay of this style of episode and doing the collaborative draft. I'm going to list the movies that we have to choose from, just in case people have forgotten, which I don't think is like remotely possible. But just in case you need a refresher on the films. And then, Ben, I'll have you go through and talk about how this is going to lay out for draft picks.
Yeah.
So the 11 films, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone? How do we want to refer to it, guys? Well, we hate London. Well, Sophie hates London. So
Sophie hates London.
I guess we should probably go with Sorcerer's Stone, huh?
Yeah. That's what she would want.
Keep it in the Americas. No rebuttal. No rebuttal. You're just like, all right, yeah, cool. I didn't have to say it.
Yeah.
So Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. We got Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 1, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Those are going to be our 8 Harry Potter films. We've got Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, who is a character, Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. I have so many Fantastic Beasts thoughts. It's incredible. So those are going to be our 11 movies. Ben, will you go through the picking, the vetoes, and give us the layout of the land, please?
For sure. So Drafter A is going to have picks 1, 4, 7, and 10. And with that, they will have 2 vetoes that they can use. Drafter B is going to have picks 2, 5, and 9 with just 1 veto. And that sounds like the least amount of picks, but since we only have 11 movies to pick from, they are kind of choosing the 2 and the 1 spot. So that's why they only have 1 veto. And Drafter C will get picks 3, 6, 8, and 11. They will have a veto, and they will have the only veto override of the draft, which they can only use for someone else's pick. They cannot use it on their own pick. So if Ethan, plays Deathly Hallows Part 2, at whatever number 8, Sophie vetoes it. I'm like, you know what? That's actually right. I can use the veto override. It gets rid of Sophie's veto, and the movie is locked in at that spot. So those are the picks and the abilities.
Yes. Okay. I've officially started thinking about strategy. I haven't really put a lot into this because, like I said, it's kind of my way or the highway. So I just figured we would all agree on my rankings like we did on the last collab draft, which was Alien, which actually did end up being my rankings. I'm a little petrified, you could say. How many wizarding puns do you think we can get out in this episode? Is it like take a shot every time we like reference a spell? Because that could be dangerous.
It could be indeed.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I like that.
Do you guys think we're gonna have a lot of overlap? I'm nervous that we're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about like what Sophie's 5-star movies are. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, there's like, yeah, obviously those are 5-star movies, but who knows what she thinks?
Yeah, Harry Potter in the Streets of London, her fan fiction actually of the Harry Potter franchise. Yeah. I'm worried, and like I'm just trying to figure out like what position I might want. And I'm a little unsure of which seems to be the most powerful.
Yeah.
So
which one would possess the power of the Elder Wand, one might say.
We haven't really discussed this, but you're giving off big Slytherin vibe here. Do you know what house you're part of, Ethan? Because you seem to be very Slytherin, like, I want the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's something you guys actually bring out in me. I'm not Slytherin. I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Gotcha.
And I don't quite honestly, I'm not really sure what that means and why I'm a Ravenclaw. When I'm on this draft, I feel like a Slytherin. Any other day, I try to embody a Gryffindor, and apparently, the Sorting Hat was like, no, you go with the Crow.
Gotcha.
What house are you guys?
I mean, I've got my Hufflepuff yellow on for a reason today.
Oh,
So
sweet Hufflepuff, Ben.
yeah, I love it. Cedric,
That makes
my
so
boy.
much sense.
Sweet summer Hufflepuff.
Yep.
I'm also a Ravenclaw, which I also am not exactly sure what that means. I just know it means that I'm an intellectual.
I was gonna say, like, I think it means you guys are the smartest ones, and you guys are like, I don't know what it means, but I'm a Ravenclaw. It's like, how do you guys not know? It means you're supposed to be the smartest ones here. Like, I have no idea what it means.
So Ravenclaws is technically the smart house. They value learning, wisdom, wit, and intellect. We are academically motivated and creative thinkers. We're eccentric and curious. So yeah, curious and pissed off.
Love
I guess
that.
Ravenclaws. Look at us.
Totally.
A couple
Wow.
insiders.
Total insiders. I don't know if I don't know if that's true of me now. The last time that I took
think
like
you're
a
giving
sorting
Slytherin.
quiz. Yeah. Am I giving Slytherin?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to have power over you guys. I really do.
Yeah.
The occasional bleached hair doesn't help your case either. You're giving real Malfoy vibes.
Yeah,
with
real
that too,
Totally.
so,
Totally.
say.
The black nails, the black outfits.
yeah,
Wow.
I think we figured it out.
I got to retest. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what we've established here is that the Sorting Hat is wrong when it comes to me, and I'm actually more powerful than the Sorting Hat. The generations of sorting that the hat has done. Cool.
That's it. That's what we've
Again, real
established.
Slytherin coming out of me
Yeah,
today.
I'm more
Yeah.
powerful
Really
than the Sorting Hat. Exactly.
Okay. I think we're ready to spin. I think we're ready to draft. The only thing maybe worth mentioning for the listeners real quick, I'm sure people are just probably like dying to know. Have any of us read any of the books? Are we
Yes.
forming our
This
opinions
question.
based on the books? I've not read a single Harry Potter book, and I have staked my claim in the fact that the movies are it, and that's what I'll live by. Really, until my daughters are old enough to consume the books, and at which point I think we'll explore those together. But until then, it's movies or bust.
Nice. Yeah, I've read the books. I was going to be like, who hasn't read the books and seen these movies? And then you said what you said. I was like, oh, okay, I guess some people haven't. Yeah, I started reading them when I think Prisoner of Azkaban. I remember having to wait for Goblet of Fire to come out. So I started reading them.
The movie?
The book,
Oh,
Goblet of
wow.
Fire. Yeah. So I started reading them when those first three were out. But that's, yeah, I love the books.
Real Ravenclaw vibe from you there, Ben.
Studious. I'm just a loyal Hufflepuff, you know? Come on.
I've also read the books. I've read them multiple times. They're also really great audiobooks.
Mhm.
So I tend to throw those on while I'm working or going on a walk. Great vibe. Totally recommend.
Do you recommend that I read/listen to the books?
Absolutely. If you love Harry Potter, then yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a more expansive world, you know what I mean?
Man,
The books are
maybe
great.
I should. Maybe I should.
Like
I'm
there's so many
curious-
characters that are missing from the movies
Yeah.
that you just wouldn't know about.
Wouldn't know. Yeah, that's the problem. Wow. Okay. So I'm really curious how that'll influence our rankings. I wonder how wrong I might be. Okay, cool. I'm slowly shriveling here. Gosh. This is no good. All right, spin the spinner. Let's draft. Let's just get this show on the road.
Here we go.
Wow, lowercase, all lowercase on the spinner
All
again, Ben.
lowercase, yep.
Wow, bold play. Okay, well.
And look, I just happen to be in the
don't know about
yellow. I just
Yeah, look
happen
at
to be-
you,
look, it's
Hufflepuff.
perfect.
Yeah, okay, you Hufflepuff. Ben has been picked first. You will get to choose what drafting position you get, Ben. But we'll spin for Sophie and I.
Ooh, that's a close one.
Keep going.
Oh, shit. Oh, no
Wow.
way. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Cool.
The Sorting Hat looks upon me once more.
It is
With joy.
spoken.
All right, Ben. What drafting position do you want? You didn't really mention if you were after one or not, but
That's true. I didn't. But let's see. Do I want 2 vetoes or do I want the override?
That's kind of where I was thinking as well. The veto override seems like it could be of great use in this draft.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been a collaborative draft where we have used all of our abilities, to be honest.
I don't know that there has been, but today might be the day.
This will probably be it.
So I'm going to go with C.
Wow.
That's what I want.
Wow.
Cool.
Interesting. Okay. So you're going to be taking picks 3, 6, 8, and 11, and you'll get a veto and a veto override. Wow. I didn't anticipate that. Okay. I guess
the good thing
picked
about
mine,
it is I know that when I use my veto, it can't be overridden. So whatever I veto will get vetoed, which I'm excited about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute power, one might say.
Yeah. If I have the power, no one can use it against me. Exactly.
Huh. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Well, I know that the way that this is structured is like 2, 5, and 9, but also you kind of pick one. But like seeing only 2, 5, and 9 is like really not appealing. It's like, wow, okay, cool. I really only get 3 picks.
When in theory, it's like the most powerful position.
Because you get.
Is it though? Pick. Because you didn't pick it.
It doesn't mean I want the power. You know what I mean? Just gets the most powerful doesn't mean that's what I want.
Okay, sure.
I'm not a Slytherin like you.
Real Neville vibes over here.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want the power. I just want to come and rescue and save the day. Okay,
exactly.
Got it. Cool. 1, 4, 7, and 10. Double veto. All right, I'm gonna take the 2 vetoes. I'm gonna go with 1, 4, 7, and 10. Picker A.
So that means it's in Sophie's hands. The top 2 movies.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ.
In theory. You know, depending on how we play the board.
I guess so.
Okay. 1, 4, 7, and 10 is for me. Sophie, you will get 2, 5, and 9 with 1 single veto. Do you feel like you're being undermined in that position a little bit, or do you feel like you can accomplish what needs to be done?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident.
Okay. I wish you the best of luck. May the Tri-Wizarding tournament commence, quite honestly. Look at us. 3 of us here. All right, Ben. Number 11.
I mean, I spoke about it earlier. I'm not going to speak much about it now, but it's The Crimes of Grindelwald. That is the worst Wizarding World movie, in my opinion, in large part because of the Johnny Depp of it all. He's just, I don't think he's that great in it. And I think I wrote in my review that like it's amazing. I spoke earlier about how much I love the expanse of the Wizarding World and how big it seems. And it's amazing to me with all of these Fantastic Beasts movies, how small they make everything seem. Or it's just like, where is everything? Like there's, I know there's literal magic on the screen, but like there's no magic to these movies. I don't really enjoy where to find them is, I think, the best of the 3, but to me, it's a clear cut bottom 3 on this list here. And for me, Crimes of Grindelwald is the lowest. I hope to never, ever see this movie again. Once was enough. I wanted to gouge my eyes out, but again, I knew I needed to stick around for Secrets of Dumbledore. So, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy this movie one bit. I gave it 1.5 stars on Letterboxd. So this for me is the clear bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah, I gave this movie 1 star. This movie's just absolutely atrocious. This movie's undeniably terrible. I agree with you. I think like the Johnny Depp of everything. I know I mentioned earlier in the pod, like the Fantastic Beasts trilogy that we have now that was supposed to be more movies that I just don't think is happening. Is this one of the most cursed casts ever? I mean, you talk about Johnny Depp and Ezra Miller, and then you have people like Eddie Redmayne, Zoe Kravitz, Catherine Waterston. Like they did nothing wrong, but they're just part of this absolutely atrocious franchise.
Yeah,
it's scary that the two villains that the story is built around are 2 of the most troubled people in Hollywood history ever. That
like J.K. Rowling stood by, because I think their shit had come out in between all this casting in the movies, and she's like, no, I still want to keep Johnny Depp. It's like, okay, you don't have to, you know, like you obviously like we learned later on that you could like draft, you could cast somebody else. But yeah, I don't know. This was a really tough watch. I had a hard time with this movie. So why is it one of your 5 stars, Sophie? Tell us why
why
it's a
is
5
it in the
star
top
movie.
3? Like, what is going on?
No, it is
Your
not
Johnny Depp
even
Grindelwald
close.
tattoo, yeah.
No, I haven't seen The Crimes of Grindelwald or The Secrets of Dumbledore since they've come out. I think I watched them once and that's all I
Same.
needed. And knew they were going to be at the bottom of this list, and I don't really care what order they're in, honestly, because I will never watch them again and I don't care about them. And yeah, I do think that they're just pretty cursed, and it's sad that they went this way, because like the wizarding world is special, and like so many people have such an attachment to it that like they really fucked up with these.
Yeah. It's kind of remarkable, like how much they fucked up with these movies. It's a little scary. And it's weird because like they went back to the David Yates well. Like they knew the guy who knew how to make it big, who knew how to make it magical. They got him to direct all 3 of them, and they come out 2016, 2018, and I believe 2022. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2022. Yeah. And all of them just like massive flops. Terrible. Okay, we'll proceed because we'll keep talking about Fantastic Beasts. I'm going to nominate Secrets of Dumbledore in the 10th spot here. This movie is not much better in my opinion. I haven't seen it since it came out in theaters. This is the full movie, that the only one I wasn't able to get to on my rewatch for this draft. So I don't remember particularly. I know Mads Mikkelsen is in this movie, and like that's pretty cool. I love Mads playing a villain or playing a guy. I honestly I can't remember. But the only thing that I wanted to mention, excuse me, about Secrets of Dumbledore and really about the Fantastic Beasts trilogy is it's kind of remarkable, like how little I care about Newt Scamander. Yeah. I just like am not intrigued by Newt in the slightest. I think Eddie Redmayne's portrayal, I don't know if like they're accurate to the book. There's books on these movies. Is that accurate or?
Yes. I mean, there's a Fantastic Beast book. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know like if he's drawing on that or like what's happening, but his character is remarkably uninteresting. And I think their ability to like make them called Fantastic Beasts, but then shoehorn in the beasts is a little astounding. Like it's not about that. Like it's about the obscura and like, you know, you don't have love, so you turn it into this big ball of dark magic and like those kinds of things. But like Newt is just like incredibly uninteresting to me. And I just am like not, I just don't care about him at all through any of the movies.
There was a point here where I had to pull up IMDb to learn that Mads was playing the Johnny Depp role, that they had recast him. I was like, oh, this is Grindelwald. Oh, okay, got it. Like, it was kind of interesting. Yeah. I think I like this movie a little bit more because of the Jude Law of it all. Like, I really enjoy Jude Law, and I think he's giving a good performance here. Yeah. I did appreciate how they tried to like age him up, because I don't think it's like that far away from him being the Dumbledore we see in the Harry Potter movies when he like looks like he's 90, you know, and like just like barely holding on. And then we got Jude Law, who's just like this handsome fuck, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Yeah. But that's honestly like why I like this one a little bit more, is like no Johnny Depp. Mads Mikkelsen is a great actor. Jude Law is a great actor. And it's fun to see them just, you know, kind of do their thing. I couldn't help but think though, like sometimes actors get really lost in their roles. And I'm like, how did someone explain this role to Mads Mikkelsen? It's like, all right, you're playing this guy named Grindelwald. Like when they got to use wands for the first time, it's like, just point it at the camera. We'll do all the effects after. It's like, some of this has got to be really weird. But I guess when you're just an actor, you're like, I'll just do whatever. But it's just like, man, some of this just looks so strange and unnatural, unfortunately. And I didn't think that at all in any of the Harry Potter movies. It just seemed very believable. So again, it's just another thing of just like the magic not being there. But Jude Law was there, so that got 2.5 stars from me.
Do we think like it has to do with these movies taking place in America?
Do you hate America now? Is that you hate London and you hate America? Wow.
Like, does America not have magic? Like the magic just doesn't work over here, you know?
I mean,
it's a big question. I feel like we got to tread lightly a little bit on how we potentially answer that. I think it's a really interesting thing, because Ben, I know you and I, like, we're big into Hogwarts Legacy. Like, we play Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
I like Hogwarts Legacy. Doesn't take place in America, but it does take place like in the 1800s, right? So it is like a kind of like a past time, a period piece.
Yeah.
These Fantastic Beasts movies are technically like period pieces. They take place in the 1920s, right? I wonder if that's part of it, like this inability to like coalesce with like a period piece and magic. But yeah, the America is basically like, you got to shut it all down, obliviate anybody. And that's, magic doesn't exist here. So long answer to your short question was America sucks. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. I'm not commenting on that. You guys and your dog eaters, whatever you think. No, I think it probably has a little bit to do with it for sure.
God, it's like these movies are just like so, just like 1, 2, 3 climax. Like these are the things that happen. They're like not stories to me. They're just like literally physical incantations of like, how do we have cool CGI magic? Like, how do we show this circus, like getting bottled up into a box? And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I actually don't mind in Crimes of Grindelwald. Like, I don't mind the introductory, like, opening sequence where we get like Grindelwald escaping. Kind of cool. Like, you get Thestrals in the 1920s. Like, you get all kinds of cool stuff. And then like, it's just like one big showcase of like CGI. Pretty cool, huh? And it's like, okay.
And I think you made the point earlier, but you're right. It's just like the first Fantastic Beasts was the only one that really seems centered around the beasts.
Exactly,
that kind of thing. Whereas like in these other two, it's just like, all right, how do we shoehorn in a beast so that like we can make this movie? You know, there just has to be involved somehow. It's just like, you tried, but just didn't really work.
He's like, let's go back to my zoo and look at all of my magical beasts.
Yeah,
and then we'll get back to the main story.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're so right.
It's insane. Okay, Sophie, it's your pick. I have to assume we're going with the final Fantastic Beasts film.
Yes, we are. We are going Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I do think that this movie is significantly better than the other two, but it doesn't mean it's that great of a movie. I think, I do, like what Ben said, I do like seeing the beasts in this movie. We need a beast count. How many times have we said beasts so far? But like, it is fun to see those creatures. And I agree. I think Newt is a really boring character. And sometimes when I watch this movie, I wish this movie was just about Jacob Kowalski, because he's the MVP of these movies.
I was hoping we were going to get here.
Awesome. Yeah, like
he's incredible.
His sweet little bakery. Like the end of this movie is so sweet, and I love it. Like the scene of him emerging into the rain. Like there are some elements of this movie that I really enjoy, but I think ultimately like the stakes aren't interesting. Like again, there's the Johnny Depp and Ezra Miller of it all. Like it's not super like rewatchable, but there's a couple moments that I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Like this does remind me of the Wizarding World that I love. So yeah.
I mean, Colin Farrell, I think he's doing a decent job in this movie. Like
totally
for what he was asked to do.
He is doing a Wizarding World version of Minority Report, and I'm super here for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's incredible.
It's so true.
It's so incredible. I didn't follow anything basically that happens in this movie about like Grindelwald, et cetera, et cetera. I was just like, Jacob Kowalski, cool guy. Like I would also love to fall in love with a beautiful witch and just be taken along in the Wizarding World. That sounds fun. Sounds like a good time to me. And then open my bakery at the very end. This is the only Fantastic Beasts movie that I fully rewatched for this. And my review was like, looks like good bakery at the end. Like happy for my boy. That's literally all that I cared about. I will say I watched half of Crimes of Grindelwald on the plane back from TIFF. And then I ran out of time to finish it before this pod. But there's two sides to the coin with the Jacob Kowalski thing. One, he's still funny in that movie. He's still like absolutely the highlight from what I saw in Crimes of Grindelwald. Like he's remarkably funny. The other thing is like that second movie in this Fantastic Beasts trilogy, he got obliviated in the first movie and was like not supposed to remember anything. He comes back in Crimes of Grindelwald and he's like, guess what? It didn't work. How crazy is that? And it's like, oh, cool. Like that's how we make movies now. We're just like, that didn't work. Look at our character now. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, guys, like do better. It's remarkably terrible storytelling, but I think Where to Find Them is the best of the three for sure. Okay.
Look at us all on the same page.
Yeah, well,
So far,
This
so
is where it
good.
goes
No.
to hell.
that was fun while it lasted because it's going to go off the rails real fast.
Okay.
Gringotts style. Here we come.
Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. I just want to clarify from here on out, everything for me is at least a 4-star movie. Like,
Okay.
even the bottom half for me are still 4 stars. So I enjoy these movies. That being said,
Interesting.
we have to start at the bottom of the Harry Potters
Nope.
somewhere.
Mhm.
No.
And to me,
What is the nope? What is this? What?
Because I know where we're going, and it's just like rude.
I don't think you do. I really don't think you do. Like I
Okay.
said, some of my opinions changed on the rewatches here.
Oh, okay.
But what we're going to start with is what is the equivalent of the Lost World Jurassic Park, where it's like, it's the same guy who directed Jurassic Park and somehow he made Lost World. So the same guy that directed Sorcerer's Stone somehow directed Chamber of Secrets, which to me just like, it didn't hit the mark as much as I wanted it to. So that's what I'm going to be playing at number 8 here is the Chamber of Secrets.
Amazing.
It's a good movie again, 4-star movie. I'm not shitting on it. It's just like the magic that we got introduced to in Sorcerer's Stone is like palpable. Like it's amazing. And then I guess we just didn't need to introduce that anymore in Chamber of Secrets. It just didn't feel the same way. One thing I do love about this movie is Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart. I think he's
So
hilarious. Like he's so good in this role.
Yeah.
He was perfect for this. I don't know how he went on to like direct Thor and stuff like that, but Kenneth Branagh is great in this movie.
Okay, well, don't sell our boy short. I mean, also, staple in modern day masterpiece Tenet. Let's just put that out there.
That's
true.
Totally expected from you. So yes, of course. But yeah, like this movie is fine. Like it kind of, gets a little, I don't know. It's fine. We get some fun stuff. It's not Chris Columbus's fault that like the CG is so rough during Quidditch and stuff like that. But to me, this is just like, if you hand me all 8 movies, you're like, cool, let's rewatch one of these. Like this is the last one I'm picking. But again, it doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's just like, it's my least favorite of the 8. So that's what I'm playing here at number 8.
Sophie, you mentioned amazing when he played that. I don't know if that was good or bad. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Ben just took everything that I was going to say and said it. Like this movie is not bad by any means, but I think that the Chris Columbus movies are just my least favorite. And I don't know if that's due to his directing necessarily, but I think the earlier movies just don't work as well for me. And this is just the one that I rewatch the least. Like I never go to it. I think Kenneth Branagh is really fun, and obviously like many elements of this movie are fun, but I just, it's a little too long. It's like, I don't know. It just is not as rewatchable to me.
Okay. Interesting. So I disagree with you guys. I actually think Chamber of Secrets is kind of fun. I don't disagree enough to warrant like a veto or anything. So we'll keep Chamber of Secrets here, where it is at the number 8 spot. I actually think Chamber of Secrets is definitely better than Sorcerer's Stone. Excuse me. I was gonna call it Philosopher's Stone.
Wow.
Can't have that. I really like the car sequence that we get. I think that is just like remarkably fun for like for not only watching, but like for their characters to go through. Polyjuice Potion. Yeah, you get Kenneth Branagh like being super funny. You get the Pixies. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. Obviously, Quidditch is really rough. I think the Basilisk is cool. Like, I was not allowed to read nor watch Harry Potter films as a kid because my mother thought I would be consumed by the blood of Satan. So that probably has something to do with like how I interact with some of the earlier films is like I probably watched them when I was a little bit older. But I think the Basilisk is like pretty scary. And I love like the Sword of Gryffindor, and I love the just kind of analogy of all of that and like how all of that plays out. I think Chamber of Secrets is pretty cool, but it's a 4-star movie. It's definitely on the lower end of the Harry Potter spectrum. But okay, we'll keep it there because I got some bigger fish to fry, quite honestly. Wow. I don't know. I don't feel good about what's about to transpire. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
just I'm just worried for like what might happen to our friendship. I feel,
Yeah, you should be.
yeah, I feel like we're at a real big junction here of like what happens, what we think of each other after this. So Ben played Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets today. I'm going to be playing Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince at number 7, a movie that I think is honestly quite poor. I think it's remarkably like narratively, I don't know if hollow is fair, but I think it's like slow. I think it is much more focused on the visual aspects of the world and what the visual styles mean to the allegories being played, and less about the actual film itself. It's a big movie. Like, Dumbledore dies. I get it. Like, you know, we're testing the waters with Death Eaters here, and like the unbreakable curse, and like there's big things at stake and at play. I just never feel like we get that. Like, I don't feel like it's justified enough to warrant that. And nobody's saying anything, so I don't even know why I'm talking about this movie, because it's going to get vetoed, and we'll probably have to talk about it later. So, whatever.
It's not going to get vetoed by me, because I have it at this exact spot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Wow! No way! I
7.
did not see that happening.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
That's remarkable.
Hey, ridiculous. See? Do a shot.
What? Take a shot.
Yeah, no, it's a great performance from Rickman. It's a powerful movie for sure. Again, we're just in 4-star movie territory. Like, I don't know what to say about it. Like, this is not a bad movie by any means, but I just will go back to my example of like, you give me all 8 movies and be like, cool, let's rewatch stuff. Like, this is the second to last one I would pick. Like, it's a good movie, but as far as entertainment value, things like that, like, it's a little lower for me.
I also think there's just like way too many side plots. Like, we're doing all this shit with the liquid luck. Like, I honestly, I don't really care. Like, liquid luck is illegal anyway. So like, why am I watching it being used in a Quidditch match?
Illegal drugs used by children. How are you
Ron should
supporting
be in
Sophie?
prison. Exactly.
It's not used
Sophie
in the Quidditch match.
supports illegal activities.
Let's get the facts right, because it's not used in the Quidditch match.
Right, but the idea of it is, and that's illegal enough.
Okay. All right. Well, let me speak on this movie for a bit, because I'm not going to veto this just because there are movies I care about more, but I care about this movie deeply. And this is the movie that I turned on the other day and was like, I have to watch this. Like, this is a movie that I love so much. I think it's the funniest movie in the franchise. I love the lighting and like atmospheric nature of this movie. It reminds me so much of a David Fincher movie. Like, it's just very dark and creepy. I love that like Voldemort isn't really in this movie. Like, it's about his people. I love like the unbreakable vow scene. I love Harry and Draco's bathroom fight. Like, there are just so many scenes in this movie that I think are so well done. And I'm really sad. I'm really sad. But this isn't one of my 5-star movies, so I feel like I have to kind of hold my singular veto close to my heart. But yeah, they're just like the chase sequence and the burning of the Weasley house. Like, those are just scenes that like really stick with me and really like, just were very emotional to like, I don't know, when this movie came out, I was like 13 or something. Like, they just really got to me. What are some other scenes? Like, the necklace possession scene is like a horror sequence. It's so good. I just think this movie is definitely like an outlier. It feels very different from the other Harry Potter movies, but in a good way. So I will stand with my Half-Blood Prince stands. I'm really sorry.
But you failed them because you've accepted it at number 7.
No, I love this movie. It's in
don't take her back, guys.
No,
don't take her back.
No, it's in like my top 3 Harry Potter films. So I'm sad to see it here.
And you're not vetoing it.
And you're not going to veto. You're just going to keep it here.
No.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I have no veto. You guys have more power than me.
You have let down your fan base. You have significantly disappointed them. I'm going back through like what I said, and I agree with you, Sophie. I think there's a lot of good moments in this. Like, I do think the chase sequence and opening with that and the energy we get from that is so dark and cool and different. I love what we do get like moments of with Draco and moments of with like Ron and Hermione and like that whole situation. it just feels remarkably underutilized in my opinion. Like Draco's storyline is so intermittent in this film that it just feels like you're cutting off momentum every single time we cut away from it. And like it feels like we never amount to like the pressure that Draco feels to really do what he has been told to do. Doesn't really matter because Snape just does it anyway. You know what I mean? So like I feel like we miss out on a lot. I really love the final 25 minutes though. I'll just put that out there. I do think it's good when it chooses to be good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm a little stunned that we're here together as a unit. Even though Sophie apparently disagrees. Wow. What a world we live in. Us. Cool.
All right. It's me then, right?
So it is you. So we've now drafted 5. We're down to drafting 6 and yet an ability to be used.
But I think we're getting to the top stuff now, so who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where it happens.
Because we're like literally in the middle here. So
Okay.
we'll see if this sticks or not.
Okay.
I'm going to pick this movie, even though a part of it hurts me as a Hufflepuff, but I'm just got to be honest with myself. And I am going with Goblet of Fire.
Oh, well, that's wrong.
Do you want to veto then before I speak on it?
Fire
Honestly,
at number 6?
I think this has to do with Ethan's lack of reading. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
I agree. Can we expand upon that for a moment? Because I have heard that Goblet of Fire is the one where it's like the movie is very different from the book.
Yeah.
I think, is it still the biggest book? Like it was for a long time. It was an outline.
Yeah.
It was just like a huge book compared to the rest of them. And there's just no way to get it all in the movie. So it's understandable. Like adaptations are never going to be perfect, but this one strays pretty far. But I have it at 6. Like if you're going to veto it, tear it up and we can talk about it later. But you have 2 vetoes.
I do. Yeah. Well, see, this is why I wanted the 2 vetoes because there is a movie that
to sit on them and not use them. Is that why you wanted them?
I feel like you have to use it now.
Well, that's my biggest fear is that I walk away and I'm just like, cool, didn't use any of my vetoes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Sophie here. I'll veto it. I feel pretty good about that. I love Goblet of Fire. I love it. It's top 3 Harry Potter for me. I won't say where it lies in that, but I really enjoy Goblet of Fire. But I will say, Goblet of Fire used to be my number 1 Harry Potter movie.
Oh.
Bounced down after the rewatch. Bounced down.
Gotcha.
But I still care about it enough. So I do think it's worthy of a veto here. So we'll save the Goblet of Fire conversation.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. I don't feel good about that, but that's okay. That's where we're at.
All right. Well, next on my list in my 5th spot is the thing that jumped up the most, and that is Deathly Hallows Part 1.
And that's not happening either.
Well, this is also incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
It's getting vetoed.
Oh, my. Okay, so I've used one of my vetoes. Sophie, you have used your single veto.
I have.
So I'm playing my 4th favorite movie at the 6th spot now. Is that what I understand?
Okay, well,
Yep.
hold on a second. Do we want to say anything about Deathly Hallows Part 1, or we're just saying?
Nah.
I mean, we'll talk about it when it gets played. Like,
yeah.
we can just talk about it then.
I'm too.
But it is. I mean, genuinely, it's the thing that bumped up the most for me.
I told you it would. What did I
rewatch.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Part
right.
1
I'm always
squad.
right.
Yeah, baby.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay. Then I'm going to play my 4th favorite here, which would be Order of the Phoenix.
Well, that's
Yes.
definitely not happening. I will be vetoing
What?
that.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
What?
Oh yeah, I can't have
Ethan.
Order of the Phoenix at number 6. Absolutely not.
That's
We will
exactly
be
where
saving
it needs to be.
that entire conversation for when that movie will be played.
Wow.
Ethan,
Which
I'm
my
gonna
guess is
play
it's
it
not far off.
next. I'm gonna play
Well,
it next.
You're really gonna play it
You're
next?
vetoed. Yeah. But
No,
it's
no,
done.
no,
You
no,
vetoed
no,
it.
no. You
You
can't. You don't
vetoed.
throw me under
You
the bus like that.
Ethan,
You said
vetoed.
veto.
You guys are That's incredible that you guys would turn on me so fast like that.
I'm sorry. This is
I'm not turning on you. You guys use all 3 of your vetoes on
I
my
didn't say
6th
I was
pick.
going to. I didn't say I veto. I said that's not going to happen. And then you guys
No,
are like, "Oh,
Ethan.
you're going to play your
You said
veto,"
the
and then you're
word
like, "I'm going to
veto.
play it next."
You said the word veto.
Ethan, you vetoed it.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't remember
Roll the
saying
tape
that
back.
those
Roll
words.
the
I
tape
don't
back.
remember that being the case, but okay. You know what? If it gets bumped up one spot in the top 5, so be it. Sophie, that's on your conscience, not on mine. I did my part. I tried. I tried justice for the best fucking Harry Potter movie, but that's a conversation we'll have
What?
in a
The
minute, I
best.
guess.
Wow. Amazing.
Nope, take a shot.
Fuck. Okay. Well, yeah.
Astounding what we've accomplished here today.
I guess
So
my
I'm really
veto
glad that
override
we.
is not
I'm,
going to get used
I'm
at all.
super glad we had this conversation about like when things start to get dicey going into the top 6.
Yeah.
All right. I've played all of my 4-star movies, so I'm going to my first 4.5-star movie, and that will be Deathly Hallows Part 2,
Thank God.
which is just going to stick here at 6 because it
This is
has
good.
to.
This is great.
I don't know. It's a great ending to a franchise. Obviously, it's like split up in these 2 movies here. This is very much like the action side of the ending, but I think it all pays off well. The little epilogue thing is always a bummer with the makeup and just the way they age them up. It's like people in their 40s don't look like that. You know, it's like, this is crazy. Or even their 30s. I don't know how they're supposed to be exactly. But yeah, there's so much. I think there's humor here. Well, I love the Draco hug. It's like one of the best parts of this movie. As Draco's changing sides, I think that's hilarious. Like trying to get some humor out of Voldemort, but you know, Harry seeing his family and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just think it plays out well as a good cap to this franchise, which was a difficult task because there's a lot that's like built up over all 8 of these movies. So, I kind of understand after Order, like why David Yates kind of got handed the reins. And I think this was the last really good thing that he made. And then we got the Fantastic Beasts movies. So I have it at my number 3, but it's here at number 6. So Deathly Hallows.
Well, I'm about to share your sorrow here in a couple of minutes, Ben. So you will not be alone.
This movie is great. I agree. Like, I think this could have just gone so poorly, and so it makes so much sense why David Yates was given the reins, because it just kind of exceeded my expectations fully. Like, I remember anticipating this movie so much and like being very scared about how it was going to end, and I think it's really great. I think there's like all-time quotes and line deliveries in this movie. I think my favorite quote in the whole franchise is when Dumbledore says, "Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why shouldn't that mean it's not real?" And that whole sequence, like in the train station, is just really brilliant. I love the camera work during Voldemort's like voiceovers. I think all of that works really well. It's really good. Snape's death is obviously like incredibly effective and heartbreaking, and that's handled really well. There's just so much good stuff in here, but it's not one that I revisit a ton. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, because I'm a Deathly Hallows Part 1 girl. But also Neville getting to like be the star of this movie.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
Love him. Neville on the bridge, really great. So yeah,
Super
this
cool.
is a good movie. Again, like just because it's in like my 5th spot, I think. So not too far. But again, like it's a great movie that doesn't mean anything.
It's a great movie that doesn't mean anything. You should put that on the poster. That's an all-timer right there.
Oh my god.
So this isn't in my 5 spot on my personal ranking. I think there's a lot of good moments in this movie. I think it's a completely serviceable send off to the franchise. It's very similar to the MCU, where it's like, and we've got Infinity War, we've got Endgame. Give it to the Russos, like they know what they're doing. But same exactly with what you guys were saying. I think there's a lot of moments in here that work really, really well. I think the CGI actually looks really good. I think the final battle looks really good. It's really, really fun to watch. but I do agree with you, Sophie. I think it's like kind of thematically vacant, and I think it is a little overbearing of like, you know, like Harry Potter wins over evil. Like it's very, I don't know. That's the point. I get it, but I don't know. It's just a little bit
Do you
much
get
for
it? That's the point. That's what they're talking about in there. Like, I get it. Harry Potter's good. Whatever.
Yeah, you know, I guess. Like I don't know. It's fine. I think it's fun, but I don't think it's much more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Deathly Hallows Part 2, number 6 spot. I also, like you, Sophie, I'm a Part 1 girly. So we'll get there when we get there, I guess. Could happen now.
Yes.
If you want to have that conversation.
Nope. Okay. In the 5th spot, I will be playing Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which on my personal ranking is in the 7th spot. It's not my favorite. I think like it's fun, but it's like I think Dolores is like kind of the highlight and everything else like I don't know. Like the romance between Harry and Cho Chang like get me out of there. I hate it. And I feel like just all of the like the Room of Requirement stuff is cool, but it's like it's just too repetitive. It's too Dumbledore's army just like doesn't really work for me. Like what do these kids think they're doing? I don't know. It's just a little silly. And it's not something
Cool.
that I
Sophie
that I
against
really-
kids rising up against evil. Got it.
Sophie
Like-
promotes evil. Got it.
Yeah.
Pro Dolores Umbridge making more rules.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Wow.
just it's not my favorite.
I like that we get Luna in here. I think she's great, and Umbridge really is like steals the show. So this like if you're not into Umbridge, I don't know how much you're into this one exactly, but I love the Umbridge character. You know, I love seeing all the rules getting hammered up on the wall. Like those kind of visuals were really fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have this in my 4th spot, so it's not super far off from where I had it. It's a good watch. I think the beginning is funny, seeing Dudley with his friends and just like the way they're dressed and how they look and stuff is just kind of funny to me. And I love the image of Voldemort in the suit in this one. I really enjoy that quite a bit. It's kind of a cool look, but yeah, I don't know. It's my 4th spot, so it's pretty much right there.
All right. Well, look, I'm happy for you guys. I guess you got what you wanted out of this draft. Just decimating my hopes and dreams. Order of the Phoenix is the movie that jumped up the most for me on a rewatch, and is actually my number 1 Harry Potter movie. No matter how like incoherent or incorrect that might be to pretty much everybody else on the planet, I guess at this point in time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I just think this movie is like pretty stunning on all facets, and to me marks like the first entry that we are really getting the reverberations of Harry not having a true family. And obviously we get that in the final battle and everything that transpires with that and Sirius and all of those things that happen. I think Bellatrix is like really cool in this movie. I have a big soft spot for Bellatrix in this franchise, and I think she's really fun in this movie, and she just like kills Sirius Black, and it like just happens, which I think is like remarkable for the franchise to do. Books did it first. Okay, I got it. And I like how dark this movie gets. I like how it is kind of like a political thriller. I love that we get the bus in the beginning driving through London. I'm very pro London, so I thought that was a neat facet of the franchise to like to take that route. And I think that's really cool that they chose to do that.
Totally.
I just really like this movie. I think Order of the Phoenix is like really successful. I think it really, really works for me. But I guess it doesn't matter because it's number 5, so nobody cares.
So here we are.
It's like it's okay. Yeah.
I just don't see what
it
you
is. What it
think.
is.
That's
I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
Not the first time.
It's whatever. I don't care,
Yeah.
guys.
Who's up? Oh, Ethan's
God,
up.
that's incredibly rude. That you would just like not even allow me the happiness of like being like, wow, it's your number one movie. Cool, Ethan. That's really awesome that you love it so much.
I think that is fantastic.
It
Like,
is.
yeah, I
You're
think it's
unique in that way.
wonderful.
Oh my
Yeah, very unique.
fucking basilisk fang to the fucking heart. Jesus Christ. Wow. I mean, the Black family tree, like, all right, guys. It's cool.
It's good.
They show
It's
that for like
good.
2 seconds.
Right. That's what makes it work so well. It's like, oh, whoa, Black family tree. Wish I knew more. But no, everybody thinks Prisoner of Azkaban is the greatest movie ever. All right. Well, let's have that conversation because I'm nominating Prisoner of Azkaban at number 4. Ben would be the only person with a veto.
It's true.
One of the big questions I had, and I don't know if we want to talk about this question now, is like, what's with all this like Prisoner of Azkaban is one of the greatest franchise entries ever conversation. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's quite good. But why are people so hopped up on Prisoner of Azkaban juice? I don't really get it.
You don't get it?
That's crazy that you don't get it.
I mean, I get it. Like,
You
it's just like
don't.
it's
don't.
not as good as Order of the Phoenix.
4.5 stars get it.
And we're all in 4.5 star
I know.
territory range. Don't try to degrade my star ratings here. Every movie starting at 5 is 4.5 stars. Like,
This
or
is
5 stars, I guess, to some of
I'm
you.
regretting everything.
I think Quaron was able to like introduce some of his heritage and personality into this movie, which speaks a lot to how good it is. It's the first kind of like quote unquote darkness we saw of Harry Potter, I feel, is in this movie. And I don't know, I just think he was a fantastic choice for this film and made a fantastic film. But if that's what you want to play here, then speak.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily want to play it. I mean, Ben, you have a veto. Where is that something you're interested in using for this? If I were to play it,
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I guess it depends on what you officially choose to play.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if you guys were like ready to have that conversation or not. I guess we can put a pause on that. You mentioned Alfonso Cuarón and I kind of forgot that he's kind of a great. So. I guess
Oh my gosh. You're ridiculous.
What do we have left? What movies are left? We have Sorcerer's Stone,
Prisoner of Azkaban, of course,
Goblet of Fire, and Deathly Hallows Part 1. Okay.
Indeed.
Top 4.
I will officially nominate Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone here, number 4. I think this is a great introduction to the wizarding world, and I think like what they are able to accomplish is kind of amazing with such young children and building a franchise from nothing, from the ground up. And I love that it gets pretty dark. Like I've shown this movie to my girls multiple times. They're 6 and 4 years old, and we have to stop as soon as the troll gets into Hogwarts, because then it gets a little scary for little kids, like
Troll in the Dungeon.
There's a troll in the dungeon. And then it gets a little freaky. CGI is pretty weird. Troll doesn't look great, but it's fun. I mean, we're sticking wands up trolls' noses, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The magic of the Great Hall, Sorting Hat. Like, there's so many things that happen in the Sorcerer's Stone that you cannot replicate further down the line that are so unique. But I don't think it's top 3. So I will be officially playing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone at number 4.
Gotcha.
Shall I speak on this movie, or are we vetoing, Ben?
We can veto it and just move it up to the top 3.
Oh, jeez.
It wasn't a coincidence when I compared it to Jurassic Park. This is one of my 5-star movies.
We could have had a perfect list. You really fucked that up. We could have had a perfect
list.
It
looks like it.
Damn, this is sad.
That's crazy. Huh. Okay. Well, the Slytherin in me feels very powerful right now. Because, Ben, you have vetoed. Do I actually want to play Prisoner of Azkaban and really just piss off a whole fan base and really put our podcast in hot water, to be honest?
Yeah. Really think on that.
You don't think it's worth it for the pod?
No.
Not for the clicks, no.
Too much at stake, one might say.
Too much power.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, you really put me in a bind because I didn't know I didn't know we were gonna do that. What do I like more? Oh, let's go to my personal ranking and figure out where we're sitting here. God, it's unfortunate, guys, but okay, I will acquiesce. You guys fucked me over, and you know what? I'll just keep getting fucked. It's okay. We'll play Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire here at number 4.
Wow.
It feels. That's all I get. I bend over and say more, please, and you're just like, yeah, thanks. It feels like, as a collaborative exercise, Goblet of Fire is the correct choice here at number 4. It is in fact the 4th entry into the franchise, being played here at number 4. I love it because it is a departure from really what we navigate towards the rest of the franchise, which is like very Harry narrative centric. This is much more obviously about the Triwizard Tournament. I know you spoke about how it is probably the most different in terms of movie to book. I think it's really fun. I am always a fan of like movies that are like, you know, cool, we have to like go do this competition. I just think those are fun. You know, we get the maze. Cedric, obviously, our boy, our Pats. We get the very first kind of taste of what Voldemort can and is doing. This is where we get the first look at our Death Eaters, which has not aged well, particularly, but is really dark and is really exciting to be like, oh, wow, like Lucius is part of this squad. Wow, things are getting interesting. The dragon egg, you got to go under the water to hear it sing. I don't know, just really cool stuff. And like, this is where we first start to get Neville being like, I'm smart, guys. Like I am of value. Like I know how to help you guys. And this is really the most interesting narrative to me in Goblet of Fire is the juxtaposition between like Harry's obligation to his friends and his obligation to his fame, and how that kind of navigates in his world, which I think is really cool. I love Goblet of Fire, and I'm sad it's at 4, but I feel as a unit, this is where we need to be.
You are the Neville of this pod. Complimentary.
Neville must have felt like
complimentary.
Must have felt like shit when he defeated Voldemort, because it does not feel good.
King right here.
Yeah.
I mean, so this also, again, speaking about the Expanse, like we meet the other schools and realize that like Hogwarts isn't the only one, which for people who didn't read the books, it might have been eye opening. Like, oh, there's more wizarding schools. That's cool. So that was, really fun. Again, I mentioned it already, but Cedric, my boy, I don't know. I think he does a good job in this. The Goblet of Fire is just like, it's one of those, it's kind of like the Edgar Wright Ant-Man thing of like what could have been, because they wanted Cuarón to direct this. But
really? I didn't know that.
But they wanted to start working on it while he was still in post on Azkaban. So he was like, no, I don't want to do both. So that's why they brought in Mike Newell. But I would love to have seen his Goblet of Fire. I think it would have been so interesting, given what he brought to Azkaban. So, I don't know, just one of those, I wish I could have seen it, but it's never going to happen kind of things. But it's a good movie. It's a challenging book to adapt. There's just way too much going on. There's no way to do it. But I think they did a good job for what they had. So, I don't know. I'm cool with this here.
Oh yeah, I bet you are. Is this the first time we get a Portkey?
I think so.
Yes, it is.
In the opening sequence, right? We get the Portkey.
Yep.
Kind of sick. As someone who never read the books, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty cool.
I've really been bodied here by you guys. I've been really cornered into like this this fucking guy who doesn't even like Harry Potter joining us for the draft.
Yeah, I love the Goblet of Fire so much. I think it's the movie that I've rewatched the most, just because, like Ethan said, it is kind of a departure from the main storyline, and so it's very accessible to like other people. Like I feel like I turned this on a lot in college, and it's about the Triwizard. I'm sorry, non-readers. Do you want me to say that instead?
Other people complimentary. Okay.
Yeah. Because it is just about the Triwizard Tournament, and people love to see our guy Robert Pattinson show up. Like it's a movie that you can just jump in and kind of watch anytime. I think the Mad-Eye Moody, Barty Crouch stuff works really well. I love seeing the other schools. Like everything in this movie works really well. But I do, yeah, I mean, I would love to see what this movie would have been like if it was directed by someone else. And yeah, it just, I think there is a part of me that does just feel bitter about the ways that it escapes the book. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like the Goblet of Fire that I love, but it doesn't mean it's not fun to watch.
Sounds like I should read the books. Sounds like, do you guys think if I read the books, would it enhance my appreciation for the movies or would it detract?
I don't know.
I can't say, yeah.
You would have done it backwards, right? Like quote unquote backwards, like seeing the movies. Well, just seeing like the abbreviated versions and then going in and reading like the full story. It's like, oh man, why didn't we get this storyline or whatever? Like it may bug you to be like, oh, they should have done this. So I still think they're worth a read. But yeah, I'm curious. Report back. Let us know. I'm curious how you would feel about it.
Okay. I'll probably report back in about a decade once I get around to reading the books.
Sweet. Perfect.
Not a huge priority for me to read in
Understandable.
And he thought he was a Ravenclaw. He just said that, and he thought he was a Ravenclaw.
Yeah. Not big.
That's what I'm saying, dude. The Sorting Hat doesn't know what's going on with me. I'm too powerful. Doesn't know what's going down. I think, yeah, I just think there's so many things that work really, really well in Goblet of Fire. But I understand where you guys are coming from about like what it could have been, or maybe what it should have been. Yeah, kind of cool. I love the going into the lake with the gillyweed and like having to rescue someone you love the most or like care for the most, and the dark mermaids. That's scary, man. That's still, I'm 30 and that still scares me.
Yeah.
Won't watch it with the lights off. Tell you that. That's why I don't swim in open bodies of water. I'm scared of dark evil mermaids.
And Victor Crumb showing up as a shark. She was like, oh shit, I can't do this.
Yeah, can't risk that. Yikes. Where are we at on using wands as microphones? I
mean, pro. Why not?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, that's fun. I want one.
I think it's so cool. Where does it go? Like the rest of the franchise, there's really cool things in each installment that like kind of waver off, like that we don't get in later on. And like holding your wand up to your neck is fucking awesome. And then we just like don't really ever get it again.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've made it to the top 3, and it seems like one person has gotten their way. Really, the guy who had to dig deep for the number 6 pick, but that's okay.
Dug really deep. Yeah, to solidify my 1 and 2, I'll be playing Deathly Hallows Part 1 at number 3. Great use of Polyjuice Potion in this movie. I mean, some fantastic stuff here. Like I said, this did play back better for me on this rewatch. It isn't all just like Harry and Hermione in the tent. You know, there's much more to this movie. But yeah, I don't know. I will let Sophie speak on this because I feel like she's the bigger fan of this movie. But Dobby does still crush me every time at the end of this movie. It breaks my heart. So, yeah, good movie.
Perfect movie, some may say.
Some.
Is 5 stars for you?
It is. It's 5 stars for me. Wow. I mean, I just love this movie so much. And I think like it took me a while. Like it wasn't a movie that I loved when it came out, but as I watch it more and more, it does just have so much in it. Like I start sobbing in the first 2 minutes when Hermione erases herself from her parents' lives. Like this movie just like really affects me emotionally. And I think it kind of works like a investigative road trip movie because they're like trying to find clues and like they're moving around from camp to camp. And yeah, the use of Polyjuice Potion is so good. I love the reading of Dumbledore's will and them getting like the different objects that end up showing up throughout the movie. I mean, the Oh Children dancing sequence is probably my favorite sequence in all of Harry Potter. I love it so much, and that song makes me so emotional. Harry seeing his parents' grave for the first time. Like there are just so many big moments that I feel like maybe people aren't as attracted to this movie because it's not like super loud and super like outwardly magical, but to me it works so well. And like the Three Brothers animation, just everything works for me. I think this movie is just so perfect, and I don't think that it gets the love that it deserves. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just happy that it's up here in the top 3.
You did it.
Yeah,
it.
I have it ranked as my personal number 2. So I love Deathly Hallows Part 1. I think there is
Amazing.
something really, really special about this movie. It is much more insular than the rest of the franchise. It is much more focused on like how the events that have transpired up until now are making us feel. And I think it's actually placed really interestingly in the franchise. You know, like when it comes to the movie franchise, because it kind of acts as this like really successful emotional bottleneck to be like, hey, we know what's coming, and we are scared, and this is how we feel. And then we get the big payoff of all of it, which I think is really smart. And I think is a really good thing that the franchise did, breaking up into like a part 1 and a part 2 and having them be so tonally distinct is really, really cool. It does act as like a mystery, which I think is cool, because you leave off and you're like, okay, we got to figure out who RAB is. We got to start finding Horcruxes. Like we've got to use magic that like just a few movies ago was like kind of a little incomprehensible to us to use for our own protection outside of the walls of Hogwarts. We are now literally using it to save our lives. And I think that is really interesting and done really, really cool. I think there's a lot of cool things in Deathly Hallows Part 1. Patronus, Ron shows up and he's like, hey man, I fucked up. Like that's, you know, pretty good stuff. And I do think the animation works really well. Yeah, Dobby, tough stuff.
R.I.P.
Huge moment for Bellatrix in this. Just really getting outdone. Very scary stuff. Which I think as a Bellatrix Lestrange stan, I think is good to see. Crazy.
Yeah, I wrote this in my Letterboxd review, but the performances here are just so good because like so much of this movie, like you're not at Hogwarts. Like you can't really rely on like the magicalness of like the setting. So the performances are just so good. And the role that like the necklace plays and how like they have to turn off and on like these different personas. It's so good. I think the performances really shine here.
Is this the movie where they use the polyjuice potion to infiltrate the Ministry of Magic and Ron has a wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's
really
so
iconic,
funny.
really iconic stuff. It's hilariously done. And I love it at the end where he's like, Ron, you don't have a wife. I think it is done remarkably well. Yeah. Good movie. Wow. Cool.
Good movie.
Well, we've made it to the top 2. There's really only 2 movies to choose from. I'm genuinely surprised one of these is up on the board. I think we'll spark an interesting conversation. Yeah. Well, Sophie, it's up to you. Choose the top 2 movies, and I'll just follow suit.
All right. So in the number 2 slot, I will be selecting Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. As I said before, I don't think that the Chris Columbus movies work as well for me. Like, I hate saying this just because they're like older, but like, yeah, the CGI just like doesn't really work that well for me. And I think like it's really sweet seeing like these incredible child performances, but I mean, they only improve throughout the franchise, in my opinion. So I think the first one is like not as great, but I love rewatching this movie just because it's like the introductory film and it's so sweet, like seeing Harry Potter be in such awe of this world and like we get to feel the same way as him, and that's like such a special thing, like him being at Ollivanders and just like everything. It's just so sweet. Like I love an introductory film. It would not be anywhere near the top for me, but
same here.
I think it's one of my favorite books. Like it's a really fun book to read. I just don't think the movie works as well for me.
It's actually my least favorite Harry Potter movie of the Harry Potter proper franchise. I have it at number 8.
Wow.
But I don't want to take the steam out of you, Ben. You know, I don't want to do that to my best friend.
No, it's impossible. This list is turning out great. So yeah, like feel free. Why did you play Half-Blood Prince at 7? That's crazy. You could have got a veto out of me so much earlier.
Bad movie. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Totally fair.
I was definitely on board for like clickbait hot take time. I was like, we gotta do what's
Bad
just.
movie. What do you rate? What do you rate Half-Blood Prince?
3 stars.
That's not bad.
What do you
Average
rate
film.
this?
Average film. 3.5 stars.
Okay. All right. So not your least favorite of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's that's getting into technicality territory, guys.
To me, this is a
All
5-star
right.
movie. This might be the best intro into a franchise out there. Short of maybe Lord of the Rings, you know what I mean? Like, I think this does a great job of capturing the magic that the books had. Like, I understand the CGI aspect of it all. Like, that's totally understandable. But to me, this movie is all about, Diagon Alley and just like, him getting his wand and meeting the Dursleys and the cake when Hagrid comes and, gives Dudley a little pigtail. It's like, it's all that kind of stuff where Harry and we as audience are discovering what the capabilities are of being a wizard. And I think it's just like super powerful and magical. I love the chess sequence. I mean, that's why I use that quote at the beginning, because I think that's pretty amazing. And it's probably the movie that like I quote the most out of all the Harry Potter movies. Like, we'll take the lot, all that kind of stuff. Like, I love it all. I think it's great. It's a great introduction to all of our characters. I mean, they are child actors all doing their first roles. So like, it's not super polished like we get to by the Deathly Hallows movies, but who Hermione is like the minute that she steps on screen, that kind of thing. So I think I think all of them do a good job for what they're expected to do. It's a tough task to live up to this this franchise, but I love Sorcerer's Stone. It's like one of my favorite parts of like doing this whole rewatch is starting out with this movie, because it's just such a good beginning for me. So I'm happy to have it up here. Like, this is great for me. Thank you guys.
Yeah, our pleasure, quite honestly. Glad we could help you out achieving your wizarding dreams here today. I like this movie. I just like think compared to everything else is not one that I generally revisit, and I wonder if that's because I've maybe framed it in the context of like I want to introduce my children to the wizarding world, and it's still and they're just not quite old enough. So like maybe I've put like a blockade on this movie for being as good as it will be in a few years, as being like, cool, we all love Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. There are so many great moments, and there's like this real cute nature in this movie that's never ever captured again. That is because of what you mentioned, Ben. Like, first time actors, first time roles, you know exactly who Ron is, you know exactly who Hermione is. Like Snape, scary guy. Like, that's all you need to know. And that's really interesting. And so, I mean, you get the boats, you get like the pan up shot to Hogwarts, you get Hedwig's theme. Like, there's so many undeniable great moments to this movie. So I give it to you. You're selling me on it a little bit, but I also think it's a little lackluster compared to the rest of the franchise. So number 2, I think, is a little psychotic. But hey, we're here to help you, Ben.
That's how I'm taking it. Yeah.
I just want to be the Neville. I don't want to get the praise. I just want to come in and, do my work and walk out.
I like it.
Yeah. Sorcerer's Stone. You're a wizard, Harry? God, good stuff.
No posts on Sundays.
No posts on Sundays. Yeah.
No posts on Sundays.
That's pretty good.
We say that almost every week in this house.
Oh, I love that.
No
Ben,
posts on Sundays.
have you ever had a birthday cake in the fashion of Harry's cake?
I haven't, but if you guys want to change that, April 28th next year.
Got it. Noted.
You guys, are you talking to Sophie and I, or are you talking to your loyal fan base out there?
Hey, I'll take multiple cakes, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, wherever.
Yeah. Oh man, locked in the closet under the stairs?
Yeah.
Brutal for Harry. And then he talks to a snake, and you're like, he can talk to a snake? What's going on with that? That's crazy.
Hold on 1 sec.
Wow, this is definitely staying in the pod. Wow. God,
for sure.
Make me work so hard on this show all the time. Got to figure out timestamps and got to fill dead air because Ben has to walk away.
I just wanted to show you guys my no post on Sundays Funko Pop.
Oh,
look at that.
I love it.
We went to the Funko store in Everett, and this is one of the things that we got. That's how much I love this movie.
Oh,
post
I
on
love
Sundays.
That's
so
good. I kind of really want that Funko.
I did again, contrary to what everyone may believe because of things that have been twisted on this podcast, but
Okay.
I visited London and I did go to the zoo and the exact spot where Harry speaks to the snake because that was important to me, an important landmark to visit.
Indeed.
And
100%.
you probably didn't even like geotag it. You're probably just like at the zoo. So nobody knew you were in London, you know?
Yeah, I can't let anyone know.
I can't let it slip. That is pretty cool. If I ever go to London, yeah, I feel like I would partake the same adventure.
Got to.
Man, that sounds good. I will say Funko's Harry Potter line is pretty good. It's pretty verbose.
Solid.
It's yeah, they've got
I have a
lot.
Ron one right over here.
Nice.
Wow. I have a couple. Notably, I have one in his everyday garb from Deathly Hallows Part 1. Which I think is pretty good.
Nice.
Okay, well, we've got one movie left, and that would be Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which we are considering the best Harry Potter film here on the Movie Draft Podcast.
And that's facts.
Okay. You just said that this pod twists your words, and now you're like, wow, we only speak truth here on the show. I don't hate Prisoner of Azkaban. I think it's a very good movie. It's just not my personal favorite, number one. I have it ranked at number 4 for me. It's still 4.5 stars. I think there's shit in this movie that like should not exist in a Harry Potter franchise. It's a little ridiculous that it does exist and that it does so like seamlessly. We get some of the best shots any movie of the franchise, obviously. Some of those most interesting, some of the most dynamic energy, some of the most I don't know, just like interesting things. Yeah, it's a good movie. I kind of want you guys to speak on it a little bit because I feel like I've fashioned myself as a Prisoner of Azkaban hater, which I in fact am not. I would have loved to see more of Azkaban proper. Like I think Azkaban is a really interesting location that we visit one time very, very briefly when Bellatrix escapes. And other than that, we don't spend any time there. Even though the movie's called Prisoner of Azkaban.
That is true. It is called that.
Is this the movie where Dementors are floating over Hogwarts?
It is.
That's pretty scary.
It's good stuff. We get Gary Oldman. I mean, he's amazing in this. We get one of my favorite parts of all of Harry Potter and my next Harry Potter related tattoo, which is Buckbeak. I love Buckbeak so much.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's adorable.
I have a Buckbeak Funko actually. Now that you mentioned it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm jealous. One of the best intros of like having her like balloon up and float out. You know what I mean? Like that's so great. Which then leads to like one of my favorite little Lego sets I have here, which is the Night Bus.
Yes,
the Night Bus fucking rocks. I love the Night Bus so much. Talk about seeing London. I mean, I love that whole sequence. I think it's great.
So good.
What are you doing down there? I fell over. What you fell over for? Like, I love it. It's fantastic. The whole sequence when, you know, they find out about Scabbers and Sirius Black and then David Thewlis is there. Like, I don't know. I love all that stuff. I think it's super powerful here. This is just, for me, it's easily just like the best movie that they made. I'm super happy to have it here at number 1, even if Ethan is a dissenter on that, but whatever.
There's just things I like more in other movies. I'm not a dissenter, you know? I just try to manage expectations. That's all.
Okay.
Well, this is the best Harry Potter movie, in my opinion. I think it works well because it's a Harry Potter movie, but it's also a time travel movie. And that aspect is so much fun. I think the Bogart classroom sequence, all-timer, it's great music in that scene. I think Lupin, like the time that we spend with Lupin is so fun. And of course, like Sirius is my favorite character in Harry Potter. And so I love this movie because of that. But also just because of the nature of the direction that this movie took, like it is when we kind of depart from the little kids running around Hogwarts, like it is a dark movie. And I think the imagery is incredible. Like there are so many shots in this movie that I adore. Like I just have so many visions of just like the big pumpkins outside of Hagrid's hut. Like there's
Mhm.
just like so much that works really well. I love the confrontation between Hermione and Draco. Like it's just full of goodness. I think it's a perfect
Yeah.
movie. And
Mhm.
yeah, happy it's here. Very, very happy it's here.
This
It-
is kind of the first entry where you're like, oh wow, this is a big world, and Hogwarts is not immune to the world,
Mhm.
which I think is a really interesting facet, because like Chamber of Secrets, it's already in the castle, like it exists, it's been there.
Yeah.
This is where you get the true vast expanse. Yeah, I think the imagery is among some of the best, maybe of like any franchise like ever. I'm looking at some of the film grabs. It's crazy. Is this the first
Mhm.
movie we get the Marauders map?
I think so.
Yeah.
Fucking sick.
Which
Where
like,
Harry's
is
in
what
the
this
dark
cup
hallway.
is, but my coffee's gotten cold now, so it's not showing up. But this is the Marauders map mug.
I love Harry Potter
So
merch.
cool.
I love it. I think it's wild that Alfonso Cuarón directed Y Tu Mama Tambien, and they're like, the Harry Potter people like, let's get him to direct our movie. Like, that's the next thing that he did after like such a
That's crazy.
sexy, fantastic movie. And it's like, let's get him to do this like kids movie. And he did, and he like made it for everybody, which I think is fantastic. That's where I think we get the jump up of it like being just for kids and whatever, quote unquote, for kids. And this like, I think brought the audience, just made it even wider. So I think it's great. And I am, as I mentioned, bummed that he didn't do Goblet of Fire, but his next movie was Children of Men, which is a fucking amazing film. So like,
kind of a little
it's
movie,
hard to argue that it would have been better for him to do Goblet of Fire, but what a run right there. Y Tu Mama Tambien, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Children of Men. I love it.
Incredible.
Wow. Trifecta, honestly. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban, pretty good. Pretty good. I'll give that to you guys. Pretty good flick.
It's all
A
right.
movie you rate 4.5 stars. You're like,
Yeah,
giving it
it's
to
fine.
us.
Yeah. Look, it's a great movie. Don't know what else to tell you. All right. Well, I'll probably just go on and flip on another Harry Potter movie, even though I rewatched the whole franchise already gearing up for this. You guys have really put me in the mood to revisit Harry Potter again. I was in New York for the New York Film Festival last year, and I had a bonus day at the end where I didn't go to the fest and I explored the city. And you know, the number one thing that I did? Well, after I texted Sophie and was like, what should I do in the city? And she promptly proceeded to text me like 6 hours later. The number two thing I did, I went to the Harry Potter store that was in New York. And I was like, oh my God, Harry Potter merch is maybe the coolest thing that's ever existed in the world.
It is.
And I didn't buy a wand, because if I bought one, I would have bought 8. So that would have been troublesome on all fronts.
Yeah.
Which wand
Do you
would
have
you
a
buy,
wand, Ben? Yeah.
I do. It's packed away in storage though, because space for other trinkets. So yeah.
Ooh.
I got one at Universal in Florida.
Who's
Me
is
too.
it?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
was
know?
gonna say.
Or is it like one of your own?
Yeah, it was like one of my own. It wasn't like a character's wand.
Oh.
Mm.
You too, Sophie?
The
You have one of your
Ollivanders,
own?
yeah, the Ollivanders experience at Universal is like unmatched. And truly,
pretty cool.
I'm surprised it took me this long to mention a theme park, because Universal's Harry Potter, like it is my favorite place on earth. Like it truly just like completely transports me, and I love it so much. I did go to Ollivanders when Harry Potter World first opened, and I selected Luna's wand, and it's one of my prized possessions. Some other Harry Potter merch that I hold close to my heart. I have the Ron Weasley sweater that has a big R on it. Love that.
Why didn't you wear that today for the pod? What's going on?
It's a little too hot for that big sweater. Like it is thick. I also have the Time Turner necklace. Love that. Like there's so much good stuff out there that just it makes me feel so cozy. Like I'm not really a big merch girl, but there's something about the Harry Potter stuff that I have to have.
Yeah. I love Harry Potter merch as well. Molly, my partner, and I are like dying to go to Wizarding World. Like Ben, we know how big of a fan of Harry Potter you are, and you know, we talk about that all the time, and we're like, how can we be as cool as Ben and Ashley and go do cool Harry Potter things? Maybe one day, hopefully we can do that.
That first butterbeer hits. It's so good.
It's so good.
That first butterbeer.
You guys are really hyping me up. You are
Incredible.
definitely pushing me off the ledge. I'm going to make some really irresponsible financial
Get that
decisions.
credit card out. Get that credit card out. We'll all meet you there. That'll be our first live draft, just from Universal. Here.
I would love that.
I would do that.
Wow, we should do that. Is there any interest from you guys in doing? We have spoken off pod, and this is not something we've mentioned here before, about doing a scenes draft and kind of navigating doing some scenes and what that might mean from action movies or dramas or what the case may be. Any interest in doing like a Harry Potter franchise scenes draft where we get to draft individual
that'd be
scenes?
awesome.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Wow. Pen it on the calendar, Sophie. Get on that.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm game. I'll start rewatching the whole franchise again right now. Okay, our final collaborative draft ranking. Here we go. Number 11, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, who is still apparently a character in that film. Number 10, Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. Number 9, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Number 8, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Number 7, The Half-Blood Prince. Number 6, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Number 5, Order of the Phoenix. Number 4, Goblet of Fire. Number 3, Deathly Hallows Part 1. Number 2, Sorcerer's Stone. And number 1, The Prisoner of Azkaban. Is there any, like, one significant massive change that you guys are not happy with that you would make?
I mean, for me, it's just not getting vetoed 3 times at the 6th spot. I would love to change that. But overall, this is like, other than Deathly Hallows Part 2 being down at number 6, like this pretty much aligns with my personal ranking. So I'm pretty happy with it.
I mean, this isn't my list, but I do think it's funny that Ethan was the one that was like, it's my way or the highway. And it seems like this list kind of strays away like from Ethan's the most. Because, yeah, I mean, Prisoner of Azkaban and Deathly Hallows, like those are my 2 5-star films, and I'm just happy that they're in the top 3. So yes. I don't think I'd change anything.
Yeah. Note to self, just like don't put that energy out in the universe from my perspective, because it just will come back to bite you. Yeah, it's not my list either, but it is my podcast, Sophie, and it is your podcast as well. So it's something we're gonna have to stand by here. I actually have I have Sorcerer's Stone, Half-Blood Prince, Chamber of Secrets, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Deathly Hallows Part 1, and Order of the Phoenix. That's my ranking in ascending order. So I stand by that. I like the movies that I like. I feel like we've accomplished great works here today on the podcast, guys. Real magical stuff.
I'm really curious to hear from the people that listen to this and what they think.
Yes, me too.
I do feel like it's a consensus that the Fantastic Beasts should have all been at the bottom. But I'd be curious if anybody likes any of those enough to like get them out of the, bottom 3.
Oh, interesting.
And then, just like where these others fall. I do think, general consensus Azkaban's the best one, but like everything else is kind of up for grabs. So I'm excited to hear from people.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear from people as well. Talking about hearing from people, just give a shout out to everybody that voted in our poll of what next week's episode is going to be. Sophie so generously put out a poll on the Twitter of the podcast for which she hosts, co-hosts permanently, asking people if they wanted to do 2004 or 2014 movies. 2014, was it an overwhelming win or was it a close call? I don't remember looking at the poll votes.
I think it was pretty close. Like it was something like 55-45, like percentage wise. It was pretty tight from what I remember.
Wow.
And I'm surprised it ended up the way it did, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought it was going to go the other way.
You thought 2004 was going to be the winner?
Yeah, for sure.
Huh. Well, 2014,
a great year.
2004, great. Well, 2014, I've been looking at the list. Pretty remarkable movie year. Easy to draft.
2004, but
okay. Wow. Well, now you're really throwing our listeners under the bus. They made the decision. Don't bring that energy.
We left it up to them. So 2014.
Very exciting. The last episode of September is going to be our 2014 draft. I believe it'll just be us, the Holy Trinity, the trifecta, tackling
back at it again.
A year back at it again. Thanks, guys. Thanks for co-hosting with me. A real magical time. Honestly, I feel like our friendship is better after this show because I've chosen to withdraw from my Slytherin energy and just I really I think life is easier being a Ravenclaw.
It's good. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the kind words of encouragement, everybody. It means a lot. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?